Just days away from your rally, your association has received a new offer from government. The executive have considered this offer and believe it has merit. There is no doubt that the prospect of the rally and your activism over the past few months has forced the government into making this offer. This offer is contingent on the rally being postponed, subject to your approval of the offer made by government.
The approach that's been taken by your negotiating team in these discussions over the last several months has been first and foremost to protect the key entitlements that you currently enjoy, particularly your workers' compensation top-up arrangements, your shift allowances and your death and disability cover. The offer that we've been presented with today and that your executive has decided is worthy for your consideration protects these key entitlements. So to that extent we've achieved the first of our objectives. The second objective is of course to get a fair pay rise. The offer that is before you proposes a 2-year award with a total of 8% increases to your salary, 4% in each of 2 years. We think a 2-year award's appropriate given the current financial crisis that's facing the country and the difficulty that we would have in forecasting the state of the economy in a 3rd year. This gives us an opportunity from a strategic perspective when the next pay round comes around to be in a much better position to negotiate on your behalf or to seek a claim before the Industrial Relations Commission. We've been able to achieve agreement on a crucial workplace issue, and that is the break between shifts going from 8 hours to 10 hours. This was something that the membership in all of the surveys and focus groups said was a key issue, and we're really pleased it's formed part of the agreement. In regard to the claims that your unions had for improvements to pay and conditions for specialist officers, we've been able to secure a leave reserve clause in respect to our prosecutors and our tactical operations unit officers, which means that we'll be back in the Commission later this year with a case for better pay and conditions for those officers. In regards to our highway patrol and other specialist groups, we've secured agreement for a review of all of those allowances and will continue to fight hard to improve the conditions and pay for all of our specialist officers. When we commenced these negotiations, the union did so on the basis that it would not participate in trade-offs of important conditions. We believe that the agreement that's before you today complies with that understanding. However, there are changes to 3 important employment entitlements which have been strongly recommended by the President of the Industrial Relations Commission. The first of these is travelling allowances. The employer has always had a right to provide accommodation of a reasonable standard and not pay the travelling allowance component for accommodation. We've negotiated the best possible outcome here, which will mean that officers travelling to Sydney, Newcastle and Wollongong will be provided with single room accommodation at a minimum 3-star, 3-diamond level in premises that have been agreed to between your association and the employer. You will continue to be entitled to all other aspects of travelling allowance, such as the meals and incidental rates. The second item is transferred officers' compensation. Similarly, the Industrial Relations Commission has recommended a change to the current arrangements which apply to police officers. This has been brought about as a consequence of changes in the rest of the public sector, whereby there's been a considerable reduction in those entitlements. This change will only involve officers who transfer direct from the Sydney metropolitan area to an area defined under the transfer policy as a desirable location or a desirable commuter location. Officers will still remain entitled to the various costs involved in relocation, but will no longer be entitled to pick up the costs involved in conveyancing and stamp duty in such a transfer. The full details are contained within the document that's on the website. However, all other transfers remain as per the current arrangements. The third issue involves LAC amalgamations. New South Wales Police initially wanted us to accept a proposal which would have involved the amalgamation of 20 LACs into 10 without any indication about what those LACs might be. The proposal that is before you enables your association to have significant input into a consultative process around LAC boundaries. There's a range of issues which have to be considered in this process, which are contained on the website and which had been prepared by your association's Commissioned Police Officers branch. In respect to this issue, the employer has always had the opportunity to make changes to boundaries, whether or not it was part of this wage claim or otherwise, and this gives us an opportunity to have some significant input into any proposal that's put forward, and we believe gives us an opportunity which we would not otherwise have. On balance, your negotiating team believes that we've been able to protect the key entitlements that you currently enjoy. We've been able to get what we consider to be a fair pay rise given the current climate, and we've been able to negotiate a set of arrangements in respect to those issues described, which gives your union the greatest possible opportunity to positively influence the outcomes. And on that basis, your negotiating team has recommended to the executive that this is an offer that has merit and should be put to you for consideration.
The next step is to hold regional meetings where we will inform you as to what is on offer. Your branch officials will be available at those meetings and will bring back to you all the information that is contained in that offer. Ultimately, it is up to you to vote as to whether you accept this offer. Again, to all the members throughout the state and to our supporters, thank you for keeping pressure on the government. This enables us to bring to you an offer which we feel is worthy of your consideration.